I have some Ember news for you today. What was that Ember news for you today? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nakiato here. I have some news for you guys today. The funding for Ember has been announced. The plan has been laid out. So we're not just, supporting Ember based off of nothing. We now know how it's going to be funded from here on out. Mark Kern announced this on the forums, and then actually he's got something coming to you guys later today, Monday, the 29th of August. You'll see some stuff coming later today. So the end goal of funding on Indiegogo, because that's where money for Ember is going to be collected first, is to fund a playable mock-up or demo, if you will. The mock-up will be a wave-based event where you defend your mech, the big thumper-looking thing, while it gets resources for you. Now, if this sounds familiar because you're a Firefall player, or were a Firefall player at one point in time, this would be pretty much the thumping event all over again, which can be hella fun if done right. Then you have to escort the mecha after it collects all of its resources and bring it to a designated location to turn in those resources. That's where the old thumper and the mecha are very different, is you would just defend wave-based, and it flies up into the air. New one, defend, and then have to escort while defending still. So it changes it up just a little bit, or at least we will see how it changes it up eventually. The cool part of this is it'll be a completely playable encounter, which means that you're going to be using the Omniframe. So you're actually going to be able to play the game and use your abilities and shoot stuff with a subset of weapons and loadouts and whatnot for the Omniframe. But hey, at least we're going to be able to play something. But before we get to the playable mockup, there is a funding set. It's set up in steps right now before we can get to that point where we have the demo to play. So I'm gonna give that to you guys right now, or the breakdown of how the steps go. Actually, another cool part before I move on to the steps is with the playable demo or mock-up, if a stretch goal is reached, Mark Kern has said on the forums that he will add multiplayer to it, so you can connect with a couple friends. It's not going to be like open world like it was in Firefall or anything like that. This is going to be just like connect with your friends directly, send your friends invites and whatnot to the event, and you guys can play together. Now, obviously, it's just a demo, so that's just giving you guys a way to play the event with friends if that goal is reached. If that's how things continue to go. I don't know, because I don't know how things are going to go. It all depends on, funding and everything like that. We will see. But the breakdown of the steps are: step 1, develop key concept art. Now, this one's done. This one was funded in 27 minutes back when Ember first started receiving funding. And the stretch goal for that was forums. So we got forums, we got art, we got all that. So that's all set. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is model the thumper mining mecha and get it into Unreal 4 with PBR shaders, create and illustrate vision book that will define and guide the game's development. This will be the current funding round. So this is the one that is coming out today. You guys will see on Indiegogo. So this one is all about receiving funds to create create and model the mech, your miner, and from there, what the plan is when you fund this one, you're going to receive like a playable EXE, but it's not going to be the mock-up. It's not going to be the full demo. What you're going to get with this one is it's going to be the Thumper, the mecha, completely modeled and everything in this EXE, but it's going to be just like a blank space, and you're going to be able to see its animations and so on and so forth, or activate specific abilities with it to see its animation subsets and whatnot. So that's the first part of that, or that's the second step. Now, the third step is model the Omniframe and player character and get it into Unreal 4. So this is kind of the same thing as the Thumper one, or the mecha. So the Omniframe is going to be created. Its animations are going to be created in the third funding round, step 3. And then you're going to get a playable EXE, completely blank backdrop and everything. Just you're going to be able to pilot it around that blank space and check out its move sets or abilities, how it plays, stuff like that. I don't think there's going to be any like sounds or anything. I think it's just going to be straight up, its animation subsets. And then step 4 is going to be model the tissue. God damn it! I really need to know how to say the enemy character's name. The enemy aliens. That one is all about modeling those and getting shape shifting. So the humanoid form and the big monster form, that's all going to be in step 4. That's all going to be put in Unreal, and the same thing, you're going to get an EXE with those, with the animation subsets and whatnot with those. And then step 5 is the fun one on Indiegogo. Build a playable mock-up using the assets built in prior steps. Players can thump, pilot Omniframes, and fight Tissue using the Unreal Engine. So that's the one. Step 5 is the one where everybody is going to be able to finally play the demo of the game. And all these are going, like each step is going to have about a month and a half or so after its funding in order to get created and done. So by the time we hit step 5, let's see, we have 4 more rounds to go, 4 months, that's bad math, 6, I don't know, I'd say roughly like 6 months, 6 to 8 months or so, if I had to guess, with how long it would take to have the playable demo if funding, if everything actually gets funding per those steps. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the reason why this is broken up into steps is because what Mark Kern said was that he wants more accountability for where money is being allocated for the game. So usually on things like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or anything like that, you fund everything up front, and then you kind of just get whatever the heck comes out at the end, if anything, at that point. So what Mark Kern is trying to do is he's trying to break this up into chunks. And these chunks, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, are all going to be like, okay, so this is what we're creating. Do you want to fund this? Yes? Cool. Let's build this. Got funded for it. All right. Building it. Came out. Awesome. We're on to the next step. Did you think step 1 was cool? Okay. Yeah. No. Now we're going to try and fund 2. Do you want to fund 2? All right. Sweet. We got the funding for 2. We're building step 3 now. Let's start getting some funding for that. Okay. Are we on the right path? Do you guys want us to create this next part? Does this sound good? Stuff like that. So in those chunks are going to be delivered to the player base, and funding is only going to be received if you guys think that each step is a good path for the game. Does that make sense? Because this is actually the same thing that investors do with game companies. So let's say DICE has to receive money from EA. Well, DICE first has to have something to show EA. So DICE then shows something to EA, and EA goes, okay, cool, funding, here you go. But in a few months, you got to show me where this money's been going, and we'll go from there. And then like every few months, they keep checking up on the game, then they give them more money, and this is kind of the same thing. We show you what's going on, you fund more, show you more, you fund more, etc., etc. So it's weird how that's going to work, because it's kind of essentially cutting out the middleman at that point. You know, EA would be the middleman. Well, DICE is the creator. Well, EA is not in this, you know, it's strictly just the consumer base. It's interesting. I can't recall another case of this other than just like funding on Kickstarter or something in general, but even then, you're still funding everything at once. So we'll see how this goes. I'm actually genuinely interested to see how this idea goes, because I'm a big nerd for stuff like that. So I am curious. But after step 5 is done, so after funding round 5, fight is done on Indiegogo, that's when the playable demo and everything like that is going to be taken over to Kickstarter. And that's where the real game begins. On Kickstarter, the goal over there is to get funding for everything. So for the game, for the studio to create it, and so on and so forth, like that is where the game starts. So this playable demo, this is all just like, here's the idea, here's how everything is going to look, feel, everything like that. Do you like it? Awesome. And then Kickstarter will be, let's make this thing happen. So like I was saying, 6 to 8 months. If everything goes right, then funding for the actual game can begin. The studio can begin. So I don't know how everything is going to go. That all depends on you, the player base. I'm really curious to see how this all goes down. Like, I'm actually kind of excited. I've never been at the forefront of a game getting started, like from an idea, a concept, to actually start receiving funding and then eventually start getting created. Like, this is weird being right at the very beginning. So, man, I can't wait to see what happens. Really, I can't. But yeah, so that's the breakdown of all that. Now, I think that's kind of it. I think that's everything that I wanted to say in this video. Wow, I said everything. My goodness. And I only said a couple things off the script too. Yeah, all right. Screw scripts. I hate scripts so much. They're so damn annoying. But yeah, so that's that. Now, I have to get out of here because I need to go take a shower and get ready for work and everything like that, because I woke up early this morning and had a nice big cup of coffee so I could record this darn video so I could let you guys know. But I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great night, day, whatever it is in your time zone. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nakiato signing out, and all of that jazz.